How does this work?
We start.
We talked.
Oh, I like that talk.
Recording. And we should be ready.
We don't actually need to clap. It's just, it's just fun.
I'm basically recording. Keep going. We can do the whole episode like this. Welcome to YAR Talk, everybody. I am Gemini, and I'm about this close to taking the nearest available blunt object to the nearest available clock! How are you doing? Joining us...
There's these things called time zones.
Shut up! Yeah, there's these things called time zones, which can go fuck themselves anyway. We have IkiFoo, we have The Wanderer, we have Resulka. Trolls is not with us today. He has his head stuck in the toilet, I think.
He's dead to us now.
And then later on, he's going to go get drunk. But joining us today, we have a very special guest. We have up there, right on top of my head, Grundislav himself, Francisco Gonzalez.
Hello.
Who just kind of wandered in and we shut the door before he could escape. I mean, we kindly invited him to join us for today's YAR Talk festivities. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you all doing?
Excellent. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, not bad.
Quite well.
Thank you for having me. Can I do my Trolls impersonation?
Oh,
Please
yes.
do.
Yes.
Oh, which one?
Hi, I'm the Space Quest historian. Here's a pony.
Okay, that is the best one we've had so far.
Yeah.
I like how the Space Quest historian by way of Gilbert Gottfried.
Yeah.
I guess there was there was a little bit of that in there. Anyway.
I think pretty much all your impressions are Gilbert Gottfried to a certain
Unless
degree.
they're Cedric-based.
I guess. I don't know.
You're either Gilbert Gottfried or Cedric.
It's either way, it's a small, annoying bird.
Fair point. Now that you
And
mention it.
Christopher Walken. Your Christopher Walken isn't anything like your Gilbert Gottfried, so 3 voices.
Well, we can get into that more later. But speaking of trolls and being drunk, later on we are going to be trying to decipher some texts that may or may not have been made by adventure game characters while they were drunk on something. And then, appropriately enough, since we got, one of them, their fancy game developers joining us, we're going to be talking about what might be more difficult to make, a short game or a long game. Interesting. But, kick things off with the news, and such a tragedy that Trolls couldn't make it to us.
Beyond the Steel Sky!
You son of a bitch! I had a build-up and everything. Yeah.
I would like to also formally apologize to anyone that that mentioned that they would like a BAS sequel in my presence, and I was just kind of like, I don't know nothing. Richard hasn't told me anything. For the last 2 years. So,
yes, finally, Beyond a Steel Sky is getting a sequel after, who knows how many years, 20 some odd years, something like that. Apple, of all people, announced it, I think. It's got something to do with Apple.
Platform, I believe.
yeah.
Yeah, the platform.
It go to Apple platform of some kind.
But I've seen a little bit of it via the video that Trolls made, and it looks interesting. I played it, I think, when I first got my GOG account, because it was one of the free games in the library, and I liked it. It wasn't necessarily one of my favorite games, but I didn't hate it either. So I'd be interested to see how the sequel turns out.
You may not want to play Lure of the Temptress.
Oh, come on.
That's another one.
I can't remember if I have or not.
You know what?
Is that the one? Is that the one you made a video about with the useless sidekick?
Oh, come on,
I mean, narrow that down for me. No, yeah, that sounds pretty much right. And the revolutionary AI, which just got in your way.
Oh, yeah. I knew that sounded familiar. Well, that killed the conversation.
Mix up that one with, I always mix up that one with Curse of Enchantia, because I was about to be like, what, you don't want to be a boy in a field that gets taken away by a witch who wants to do something to him? I still don't know what that woman wanted with him.
She wanted to...
Yeah. and then what's it called? You defeated her by giving her a ring. So,
You married her?
You married her, and then the police came and took her away, and she went poof. So, Curse of Enchantia.
So who else has got some news that they would like to trample on trolls with?
I don't know if he's... Oh, sorry, you go ahead.
This isn't news, but Space Quest 2 still sucks.
Well, we got that out of the way.
I mean, technically, the first 3 letters of the word N-E-W, they spell something. But
it's a
you had to get it in there. I recognize that. That's good. Had to happen.
Well, how's this for news? Cyan is coming back with a new game. Firmament is the name of it. They've got a Kickstarter. Yeah, well, this is just everybody trampling on everybody now.
Yeah, it's going to go in a big old circle chain thing.
Next item, somebody's going to trample on me. It's fine. But no, they launched Kickstarter on March the 26th. Last time I checked, it had $569,052 out of a $1.285 million goal with close to 7,000 backers. And 21 days to go.
People when I was doing my backing.
It's got 7,024 right now, and we've gone up to $570,978.
But still, plenty of time to go. 21 days to go. So if you haven't, well, 21 as of this recording. By the time it comes out, it'll be more like 15 or 16. But still, plenty of time. So if you haven't backed it, go check it out by all means.
It looks great.
Yeah, I mean, what more can we say? It's Cyan. It looks good. It looks basically like Abduction, except you got a little flying sort of robot helper thingy that looks like looks like the ghost from Destiny, except it doesn't talk in it.
Oh my god, is it my idea
that's actually good?
Is it my idea of King's Quest 5, but in like space?
Possibly.
You're not going to let that go, are you?
No. Nor should I.
Guys, we gave her too much power. Yeah,
this
is clearly.
She's gone mad with it.
Excuse me.
But it's coming out in VR as well, though, isn't it? So that could be
VR and PC, but for now, not Mac, just PC and VCR. Yeah, they're releasing Firmament for the VCR.
Yeah, the loading times are a bitch.
It's revolution. Comes on 82 VHS tapes.
If only they would make more of those games where you had to like put the tape in the VCR and it was like, "You, the one who's moving now, answer."
Made by Australia.
More games outright just starring the gatekeeper. More of those.
Yep.
And funnily enough, there were actual FMV-based games that used videotapes. Can't remember the name of any of them off the top of my head. I think Night Trap was meant to be one.
Yeah.
And then
I remember
moved to
a couple
CD.
of board games did it, if I could talk to
board games?
Yeah.
Board games.
Yes, the board games. No, there was Star Trek Klingon is the only one that comes to mind, which, of course, somebody uploaded all the videos of that to YouTube, but that was relying on the annotations, and now the annotations are gone, so...
Oh, do you mean the FMV one, or do you mean the board game?
The FMV one? Is there a difference?
There is, yeah.
Oh, okay.
There's a board game that uses a VCR as basically a game clock.
Yeah, that's...
And to interrupt and fuck with you, basically. But
no, that one I wasn't talking about. I was talking about like the one that had the Klingons in it, and
I shouldn't get where annotations came.
Go to sleep, IkiFoo. Anyway, moving on. Hey,
wake up, Icky! Wake up, Icky!
No, just stay asleep.
No, mother, I'm dressed.
An award ceremony happened, and I actually took the time to make a list of some of the winners. Aren't you proud of me? The AGS Awards, specifically. the
work,
Adventure
man.
Game Studio Awards.
Where is Francisco? I don't know which way, but
A couple of well-known games, or at
like
least
the
games that
Brady
we're
Bunch.
familiar with, took a bunch of the awards. Unavowed took Best Game, Best Gameplay, Best Programming, Best Voice Work, all, of course,
nice.
well-deserved. Then there's some game called Lamplight City. I don't know if anybody's ever played that thing.
I might have voted for
For
it
some
several
reason, it
times.
won Best Puzzle. Well, it tied with Clockwork Labyrinth. Won Best Writing, Best Animation. Won Best Character for Miles Fordham. So congratulations on that, Mr. Grundislav. Although, like, seriously, congratulations to all the winners and all the nominees and whatnot. But can I just call bullshit on the fact
Oh,
that nowhere in the nominees for Best Character was KK from Unavowed? I freaking loved her. She was adorable. She should have been nominated. She should have won, but she should have been nominated at least.
well,
What the hell?
Wait, blame all of us because I voted for.
I do.
Out of
I blame every single one of you. What the
I
hell?
just pictured you, Gemini,
how
going
could
up
you-
on stage going, I'm going to let you finish.
Yes. Let me tell you about this little ghost girl here.
Where is she? Seriously.
Yeah,
I probably would have looked as insane as Kanye, talking about some invisible ghost girl trying to win an award. And a few other games that won some awards. Detective Gallo won Best Character Art. Football game, that kind of came out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah. That's
Susie
what's
Cooper.
it called? That's Sean Atchison, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that
Cloak and
won
Dagger.
Best Music and Sound, which is, I mean, good on it, but kind of strange because I saw Trolls' Let's Play of it, and I don't remember any music from the game. Actually, now that I think about it, I think it had like a couple of songs in the cassette player as you travel to different locations, but that was
This is still a football game, yeah?
yeah, football game.
Okay, yeah, there is some songs in there. I don't know if it has any like ambient music other than that.
Yeah, that's
been a
that's why I
while.
thought it was kind of weird, but still, good job. But the best winner so far, it won Best Short Game, and just from the I never heard of it before looking up these titles, but I feel like I should play it just based on the title alone. Tales from the Outer Zone, Cyborg Seppuku. I mean, does that not just sound like the best game ever?
Rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, I'm still thinking about the physics of cyborg seppuku. Well, that didn't hit anything important.
I will now stab myself in the stomach. Oh shit, it's metal. Damn it, that ain't gonna work.
Or even that the sword's gone through and they just keep doing their job with like a sword sticking through them. that
Excuse me.
didn't work.
Excuse me. Yes, I know it's a cue, but just...
Well, that was an anticlimax. What the hell?
Oh, he tries to move and he's stuck to the wall.
Probably should have thought this out. Maybe moved a little bit more. Francisco's
I can't
looking
get
at
out
us
of
all
bed.
weird.
Funny story.
Francisco has no idea what he got himself into. Look at this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see, Francisco, a cyborg is a combination...
of a Cylon and a Borg, of course. I know that.
Yes.
Oh, good. I don't need to explain it then. Fantastic.
Thank you.
You regretting joining us yet?
No, but I wanted to. I had a couple of comments. One was that I was actually really pleased with the AGS award results as far as like there was a lot of like there were no sweeps, which was nice.
Right.
So it showed that like people actually took the time to play the games rather than in other years. There have been times when people just kind of like vote
Swept the whole
unanimously
thing,
for
yeah.
their favorite. Yeah.
Oh yeah, this is the good game.
So-
Vote for that one.
This
Right,
is the one I have played. It's the
Exactly.
problem with like the top 100 like comedians or TV presenters or whatever. Everybody just goes with what they remember.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
one you've heard of.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the other thing, like the nominations are pretty much open call for everyone to just submit their nominations. And with the category of character, there used to be two awards. There used to be Best Player Character and Best NPC, and they kind of just got merged together into Best Character. And I think, I could be just speculating, but judging from the results, I think people still are in the mindset of Best Player Character because that's really what like I'm happy I won, don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but I was like Miles was not the most interesting character in Lamplight
No,
City.
I voted
by
for
far.
Bill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so Anyway. So yeah, I don't know.
Well,
But
certainly
still,
Bill
yeah.
Wynn's best narrator, so...
Yeah, so, yeah, it could be that. It could be any other reasons. I don't know. That's all I gotta say.
So, has got anything else?
So now I'll just sit here awkwardly.
Okay.
Yeah, I do have a small thing.
Go ahead.
Daedalic's Silence is going to appear on the Switch.
Cool.
Mm.
I've heard of Daedalic, haven't heard of Silence. Is
That was
this a
my
newer
backup
game?
news.
Have you heard of The Whispered World?
Oh, right. Is that the sequel?
Silence is the sequel, yeah.
Okay. I thought it sounded
they've gone-
vaguely familiar, but I wasn't sure.
They've gone from whispering to just saying nothing at all.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hey, you say it best when you say nothing at all.
Oh,
Don't
God.
you ever quote Ronan Keating at me. In my house. My in-house. One more if we're
Yeah, we got
short on
time.
news. Not that it's unimportant or anything, I just don't want to take up all the time. I'm just going to read off the headline here because it's something.
Oh, boy.
Layer of the Clockwork... Excuse me, the emotion is so
I'm not the only one who can't talk! Yes! Sorry.
You
Go
understand?
ahead.
No, wait, shit. Layer of the Clockwork God promises to reinvent the point-and-click genre. Now, the really interesting thing is, from reinvent to genre is in quotes, and reinvent itself is within square brackets, and I don't know what that means.
So,
It's
it
like,
promises to
all right.
reinvent the point-and-click genre, basically. As much quotes as you can get out of your hands.
Shit. Oh, God, I don't know.
I could see it. What
Yeah.
the hell?
Now you're moving
Okay,
to interpretive
so-
dance.
Always. So Ben and Dan Adventures, who you may remember from Ben There, Dan That, which is 2008. Damn, that was a while ago.
Yeah.
But
And I still haven't played
Yes.
those games. I own them.
I got somewhere into them and then put them down. I do that with a lot of games, unfortunately, so I'm not entirely familiar. But and I've not watched the trailer or anything. I just basically saw the headline.
Right.
And that is the words that I have on that. Help!
Thank you for that valuable
Help the man.
contribution.
Contribution.
Well, I think we kind of newsed ourselves out, so I think we are going to take this opportunity to move on. Oh, Grundislav hasn't been exposed to this yet, has he? Oh, this
No, he
is going
has
to be
not.
fun. Because this is the point where
Come
we...
closer.
yes, this is the point where we move on to the very interesting point in the podcast, which we like to call Super Happy Fun Happy Game Time! I kept my headphones on and I managed to not stumble through that. How the hell?
I'll
Yep.
snap them in half.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, I've snapped them in all sorts of pieces. These things are super glued together. But yeah, I am actually not going to be hosting this particular game time this time around. I am instead. I know what's going to happen, but I don't know any of the material. As I said, we are going to be looking for. We're looking at some texts that may or may not have been made by adventure game characters under the influence of Sauce. And gathering those so fun-looking texts is our friend, the Wanderer 1990, so I shall now hand the floor over to him.
Okay. So, yeah, I get a lot of... For some reason, when people get drunk, they tend to text me. So I just have these. I just clip them from my phone, and I'll just share them with you
just
guys.
got one of those easy-to-remember numbers.
That's right, yeah. You can dial it drunk.
I keep telling you, you should change it from 1 to something else.
Well, no, I've had it for years. So I'm just going to get right into it. So basically, whoever can guess who sent this message gets a point.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It's Mini Douche Mountain.
Yes. We're gonna. You know what? Yes, it is. We're gonna keep the points.
No, you get an actual point.
Yeah.
Douche Hill. Douche Hillock.
So
Douche
bumper.
Knoll.
we'll start with an easy one here.
All right.
Ooh. Okay, the file
I
name
like
might
it.
give it
We'll start
away,
with an
but
easy
we'll-
one. Ooh.
We'll start with it. Don't look at it. Don't look at the chat. Just don't look at it.
All right.
All right. You may now look at the chat.
Okay.
So the first text says,
Oh, I
there
know.
we go.
I know who it is, but I don't know exactly his name.
I like the Scum Mobile
Yeah.
service provider.
Actually, it could be one of two people.
okay, so we'll go in a circle. So who wants to take the first guest?
I'll go ahead.
Guess,
The
guest.
first guest?
Yeah, sorry.
Does that mean one of them's going to end up with a seventh guest? Anyway.
Never mind.
Oh yeah, there's some delayed
I got
news.
this. I got this.
They got a seventh guest TV series coming out, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, yeah.
I know because
Yeah,
Wonder wants to
everyone
inflict that
goes
upon
against
us.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, this can be either that dude in Return to Zork, who again I don't know his name, but
Bruce Miller.
okay, yeah, him. It could also be
Resulka's got it.
the house in the Dungeon Master's house in Zork Grand Inquisitor, because he says that too.
Oh yeah, never thought of that.
Yeah,
But yeah, okay.
I was about to say, technically, Return to Zork said it first, but in the chronology,
This ain't who said it first. This ain't who said it first. It's just who said it.
sent the text.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at
I'll take my points any way I can get them.
the contact name at the top, see the asterisks?
Yeah.
So that's got the same number of letters that's the name would have. So it's Boost. So Resulka gets that.
TDMH, the Dungeon Master's house. Ha!
Bruce Miller.
Okay, I'm not going to give you a point, but you get a token of no value. How about
Yes!
Okay. Okay, so we've got a point for Resulka and a token of no value awarded to Gemini. All right, look away from the chat again because I've named them all in the goddamn file names.
Oh.
Oh, wow, you have. I didn't even notice that. I've been staring at this on my phone. I could have cheated this whole time.
Well, we work on the honor system here, Gemini.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
That's the thing with the legs, right?
All right. Okay.
Just forget about it. Who sent this text?
I'm covering the name of it. Okay. What? Damn.
Wow, this person's very drunk.
Oh, I know who it is.
Would
Are we still going in a circle?
I don't know.
Yes, we will go in a circle.
Okay.
All right. It's King
So-
Graham.
He's right. He gets a point. So he's
God
saying,
damn it, I was gonna go with Crispy.
they're saying the
Crispin.
owl bird
I didn't
wasn't really
rename
with me.
Maybe we should start the circle somewhere else for the next one.
Okay, we'll start on IkiFoo next time. All right, let's.
Oh crap!
All right, everyone, look away.
Gain away from the thing.
I won't. I'm not going to name him in the file name this time. That's. Oh god. Okay, and go. IkiFoo, you take a crack at it, mate.
Huh.
I know who this is.
Hey,
I don't speak
was-
drunk at
okay,
all,
I don't-
clearly.
I don't.
Hey,
I don't think
hey,
any of us know
Franz-
who this one is.
I know.
Hey,
I
Dave.
know.
Yeah,
I know
Francisco?
exactly who it is. It's.
Francisco's up next.
It's. Oh wait, I was gonna say
Go on.
Hey,
Go on. It's, I
Go.
got none.
it's Sunny Bonds, but I was gonna say
Yeah.
it's Jim Walsh.
Ah!
It is Sunny Buns. He's
Oh,
right.
nice.
Fairview
He's great.
sucks. I miss
Yeah.
Linton.
Yeah, the pumps are all the same, and something sucks big time.
Fairview,
Yeah.
because that's
Oh,
where
Fairview.
The
Right.
challenge isn't trying to figure out who said it; it's to figure out what the fuck they're saying. 'Cause I didn't realize the
Either
text.
I don't drink enough to get to the point where I'm sending these texts, or I'm drinking too much and I don't remember doing anything
These
like
are-
this.
you know these are just texts I'm receiving from these people. All right,
Mm.
look away again. Last one.
Mhm.
I only made 4. Seems to have gone quicker than I anticipated. So
They always do.
Yeah,
That's why I
that's
made
fine.
like 30 quotes.
all right, Resulka, would you like the first crack at this one?
Don't tell me. I'm pregnant. What? Is that?
What? Where's it say pregnant?
Whale. Oh, it's Rosella.
You got it. You've got it.
Yep.
Wait, what? Why does it look like she's saying I'm pregnant at the end?
It says,
pregnant.
I'm a
princess.
I'll have you know.
I'm like, I'm pregnant,
Francis.
I'll have you know. Be like, wow. Hey, here's an interesting thing about King's Quest 3. So apparently,
What have I done?
what's it called? I was reading the other day about well, actually, I was going through the scripts to find the quotes for King of Douche Mountain, and apparently in King's Quest 3, all of the characters are grouped weirdly by gender. So you can when you come across
Quest 3.
yeah, when you come across what's it called, Rosella, you can actually call her Medusa, and the game recognizes it. So it's like, hey, Medusa's pretty hot, isn't it? And it's like, that's Rosella, that's your sister. But then King's Quest 3 did pretty much advocate Alexandra and Rosella until they realized they were siblings. So yeah.
It's also not the worst thing you could call your sister, but I ain't gonna say what it is out loud.
So the winner today of the drunk text is Resulka on 2 points. We've got...
There's a reason why I'm Quizmaster of Douche Mountain.
We've got Gemini on 1 point and 1 novelty token.
It's a token of no value, thank you very much.
Okay, yes.
And I will cherish it till the day I die.
Francisco gets a point. And IkiFoo, you also get a token of their value.
Woohoo!
On Shit Mountain.
Hey, you walk away with something, right? Come on.
Yeah, everybody's
like
a winner.
It's not like Douche Mountain where you walk away with nothing and then less than what you started with.
Welcome to Douche Mountain.
Now I know why those texts are so hard to decipher. He's still bitter.
As opposed to YAR Talk 1, where Trolls had, what, minus 4,955 or something?
Well, he shouldn't have mentioned soup. Anyway, moving on.
Minus 5,000 points.
I'm the host. Fuck you.
Oh, dear. Oh, look. An assassin.
Oh.
Are they allowed facial hair? I'm not sure.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. All right, okay, cool.
Ezio's got...
I've not played the games.
Oh.
Too much... You have too much fucking around on a horse on the first one. I couldn't get into it.
Oh, the first one's terrible.
Yeah, the first one is bad.
I've only
I like
Syndicate. And I like
All of them
that.
are, aren't they?
All right,
Well,
which
that
one
killed
should
the
I skip to?
conversation.
Just while we're here.
Play 2.
Yeah, play
Okay.
first.
I thought 2 sucked. Anyway,
No, what? No, two's great.
Sure.
2's good.
I am trying to make a horrible joke. Let's move on to our main topic of discussion.
Oh.
So,
I get it.
one of the things I've always been kind of curious to try is to try my hand, at making just, well, a game of any length, but maybe a short one for an adventure game jam or anything. But it got me to thinking, what exactly...
You're in good company.
Yeah. What would be harder to make, a short game or a long game? Because when you think about it, on the one hand, you might think it would be harder to make a short game because you don't have, as much time or as much of a world or whatever you want to call it to devote characters and story and gameplay to. Whereas with a long game, you've got more room, more leeway, what have you. But then by those same tokens, it could be harder to make a long game because for a short game, you don't have to do as much. And for a long game, you've got, a whole world to think out, multiple characters, multiple paths, that kind of thing. So what are your guys' opinions? Resulka, you spoke up first. You said long game might be harder?
Long game. Well, yeah, what's it called? I've made a lot of short little games. And the long game that I've really slowly been making Lorna Baines for since 2014, technically. It's gone through so many iterations and all that. And now it's like, okay, I've worked out what this is. And now I'm not in the headspace to do it. So it's going to get made, people. I'm going to get it out there. But yeah, no, I definitely find, like, what's it called? Short games. Short games, like, you might not have a lot of time to do something, but, as, our dear Wanderer can tell us, making short games is a lot of fun and you can put really weird shit in it.
You sure can.
Yeah, Wanderer was playing some of my games last night. So
Excuse me.
yeah. Using AGS in the ways that AGS should not be used. But, I was teaching myself and with some lovely help from dear Francisco there and Ben, so got there in the end.
Man,
Speaking of Francisco, I want to save him for last, since obviously he's probably had the most experience out of all of us in this field.
He knows what I'm talking about.
IkiFoo, Wanderer?
I mean, it'll be interesting to see if I can say something he won't then immediately say. But a point I've not heard come up yet is how to make a short game that is of worth, essentially. Because you might play just something that takes place in a room and think, what is the point of this? Now, I've played some adventure game jams where it is a very specific situation, usually within a room and that kind of thing. And those can work, but I wonder if they would work at all outside the context of something like an adventure jam, like we only had so much time to get this done, therefore it is short.
Right.
Because you think of short games in the mainstream area, personally I'm thinking of something like Portal, which was about 6 hours? Something like that.
Yeah,
Sounds
but
about
even,
right. It's been a while since I played
it. But even your longer adventure games these days could only be like 2 or 3 hours, because depending on your experience level with it as well.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, they do tend to run the gamut from 2 hours to... Oh, God knows how long it took me for Thimbleweed Park. We were just talking about that today as well. But...
Yeah.
Well, even a date in the park only took me an hour to complete, and I really enjoyed that.
I wouldn't call Dayton, like, what's it called? Sean does tend to do, like, shorter games, so I wouldn't call Dayton in the Park a long game. It's just, it's more, your experience level kind of drags that out.
That's something that I didn't even consider when I was thinking of this, that your experience level could come into play, because something that surprised me when I played through all the Myst games, particularly the first 2 or 3 of them, was just how short they were. But then that's because I knew more or less what I was doing and what the puzzles were about, whereas somebody coming into it for the first time might spend a whole lot more time just wandering around going, what the hell do I do? And that would kind of sort of alter the length of the game.
Yeah, I remember playing adventure games as a kid, and I would be playing them for like months. But like, you'd play like King's Quest 6 for like over a month of like, like afternoons and evenings and whatever. But now it's just like, 3 hours? That's the most that you can really go like.
Yeah, basically, if you lived in a country where you couldn't call the tech support helpline, then that was you. This was you for months.
My first time on the internet was because we had to go to my dad's family, to my dad's friend, who was a family friend, to download the last chapter of Lorabo 2's walkthrough, because we were stuck and had been for about 8 months.
Damn.
And I was like, hey, I've got the internet. And we're like, let's go over there.
The chase through the museum?
The chase through the museum.
Yeah, that's hard. And there's bits... Yeah, there's rooms where you can't save your game.
Yeah,
so
and I still have that walkthrough.
That's rough.
Damn,
that is rough.
In the move, I actually found my printout of that walkthrough. It's still in pristine plastic pocket the whole time. Oh.
So what do you think, Francisco?
What do I think? Well, let me tell you. No, I'm kidding.
Settle back, children.
You bring up a good point as far as like, if you really stop and think about it, like those old games, the classics, they're really not that long. And it's because of that. Yeah, like they basically depended on people getting stuck, and I guess just a sense of discovering the game. Like I played Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis on the flight to GDC, and I still had 3 hours afterward. It took me 3 hours. And I did the Wits Path, which, I mean, it's fairly lengthy. So yeah, like I remember I replayed King's Quest 4 and I finished it in an hour and a half. So like if you play all those old games and you know exactly what to do, they're pretty short. But yeah, I mean, as far as from a development point of view, like anytime I ever get asked for advice on like how to make a game, I always suggest to people that they just make a short game first, because I feel like the most valuable skill you can learn is how to finish a game. Because once you get into the habit of finishing a game, then you can get more and more ambitious, and your projects can get longer and, you know, actually finishing
We've
them.
lost him.
Am I?
They found him.
You're back. You glitched out on
Come
us
back
for a
to
second.
us.
Damn assassins.
And I think he glitched out on us again. Oh, there he is again.
I turned into a robot for a second there.
No, you.
No. Where did I leave off?
I think you managed to finish your thought before you glitched out.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, yeah. So, just briefly reiterate, the most important skill is being able to finish a game, because
Once
that
you finish
way-
one, you can finish more.
yeah, I mean, you have a better chance of finishing more anyway. So yeah, I think like it's easy to.
Well, that was weird. The call just suddenly dropped for no apparent reason. I don't know why. Maybe someone somewhere is telling us we need to shut the fuck up, but we're going to ignore them and keep going. Francisco, sorry, you were talking.
I forgot what I was saying.
It's easy to do something or other.
It's easy to believe in miracles.
Yeah, you were talking about it's easy to not easy, but it's easier to finish a game, so then you have the experience of finishing a game, so you can keep going.
I was also going to say that as far as effort goes, I think you can put just as much effort into a short game as a long game. I don't think it's necessarily a thing to say, well, it's a short game, so obviously it wasn't.
I may have said that a couple of times myself, so.
But I also think that, like, if you're going to make a short game, there are also tropes and traps that are easy to fall into. Like, I think it was Iki that was saying about, like, escape the room, or maybe it was Gemini. One of you guys was talking about, like a one-room escape the room game.
Oh.
That's, like, a fairly tropey thing that a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to make a short game. I'm just going to make the puzzles about escaping the room.
Yeah, that's that
because
kind
then
of
you only have to draw one room.
Exactly. I mean, there's just like in the AGS community, there have been a bunch of competitions. Like there's the mags competition where you have a month to follow a theme, which is basically just a long form game jam. And then there's also the occasional 1 room 1 week competition, which again, you can do 1 room, or you can be creative and do more than 1 room.
And what was the one that you did for Backdoor Man? Was that Tiggs?
Yes, that I don't know if that's still around, but yeah, there was that website, the independent gaming source Tiggs, and they used to have like a monthly also competition, which was also
and the best game ever came out during that.
Well, thank you, you're very kind. Yeah, so I mean, like, I think too, time constraints aren't necessarily a thing you need, but I think that they definitely help give you that little kick in the ass to kind of incentivize yourself to finish within a certain amount of time if you need that sort of thing.
And I'll tell you one thing that surprised me when I was doing research, for lack of a better word, when I came up with this topic, is I looked up, I think it was Itch.io, Game Jolt, somewhere in there, just what kind of game jams happened to be going on. And there were a shitload of them. I didn't know there were that many game jams.
There are
around.
A lot.
Every man and his dog can make a game jam. So yeah.
Apparently, like there was a whole chart of game jams of varying lengths all over the place. I was going, holy shit! I was trying to look up
and
a
which
jam
one
to
were you going to
see. Yeah, exactly. I was trying to see which one might be easy for me to try my hand at, and I'm just going, oh, what the fuck?
I've only actually
haven't made my decision yet. Sorry.
In one game jam, but I mean, as far as like go to a site specific game jam and do it in 48 hours sort of thing. But I'm kind of in two minds about that, because on one hand, I feel like it's cool that you can be creative and do something, but at the same time, especially now with so much talk of like crunch, I think that the whole like doing it in 48 hours kind of I don't want to say glorifies crunch culture, but it definitely sort of dips its toe into that. So
I like to sleep.
Yeah.
But well, the thing is, I don't know if this sounds like it's excusing it or not, but for, say, a 48-hour game jam, it's only an occasional thing, and plus you're, willingly going into it, whereas for crunch time for some big AAA industry thing...
Douchebag.
Yeah, exactly. It's something that really doesn't need to be there. And
yeah, no, that's absolutely a valid point.
The people working more or less don't have a choice.
Yeah. No, and I mean, depending on the game jam, I'm fairly certain most of them don't require you to be on site or whatever the full 48 hours. Like, they do say, like, yeah, you can stay here, but please go home and sleep if you need to. And shower.
And that's another thing. A lot of game jams, you can just make the game from comfort of your own home.
Yeah.
Which is all the ones I've done, so... Although, like, what's it called? I think, like, with Adventure Jam's usually 2 weeks. First time I did that, like, I was done by day 5, and I was just like, okay, it's done. Okay, have fun, everyone. I'm out. But then, like, I don't know if it's just, like, tried to up my ante or whatever. It was just kind of, like, after that, it was just, like, there's just so much. Or I think it's also the fact it's, like, I'm an adult now. I have more... Well, I was an adult before, but, like, it's kind of like I have adulty things I need to do.
I'm a super adult now.
Yeah, I need to get work done. I'm in charge of an energy group, man. An energy group. There's millions of dollars hiding around. I don't have, like, 2 weeks to basically stay up all night and venture game. Venture game, right? So, yeah.
I'll do adventure game.
Yeah. And then go to work and be like, how many bells do I have to fix today?
What's this? Computer is it called? Oh, okay. It's a tasting.
So I guess, well, we got you here, Francisco, and we're talking about game development and whatnot. What would you say is the hardest game that you've developed so far? The hardest to develop, that is.
Ooh, in what sense?
Good question. I guess just the most generally intensive game to create.
I think I'm gonna have to say Shardlight, because
really
only because it was my first experience working on a team, and so I wasn't in control, and I had to learn how to work on a team and how to take feedback and criticism and, like, deal with communication issues and stuff like that. And because I would say it was difficult to program, but I just got Ben to code all of the hard stuff, like the chalkboard and all the other stuff. I don't know. Every game sort of has presented its own challenges, of course, but I don't know. Like, I guess Shardlight is probably the one that's been the most challenging.
Interesting.
And has a fantastic ending.
Oh, yes. I freaking love Shardlight.
The ending is one of those that, like, the last third of the game is one of those things that I look back on. I'm like, I really, really wish I had, like, had more time to expand this a little bit. Because, like, the whole bit in the quarantine zone is over in, like, 20 minutes after it's had this whole big build up, and, like, the ending is pretty much just press a button to choose your ending sort of thing.
But you definitely gave us good options.
Yeah.
Well,
and still well done.
That way. Well, Freddie hasn't played it yet, but
besides, it'd be better to have that than to say, "Oh, this is your ending," because that decision you made about 4 hours ago. Yeah. So
yeah.
It's funny because I don't think that that's a good thing to do. Like, you're locked into this ending because of this decision that you made 4 hours ago. But I do like the concept of, like, having an optional extra little thing or an optional sort of thing.
I don't mind
like
endings
that,
like
what you did mattered as well back then.
Yeah,
but,
like
I don't think it should. Yeah, it definitely shouldn't dictate the entire ending. But, like, be like, well, you did this thing, so here's an extra little thing because of that.
I did it.
I don't mind endings like that. That you get this ending because of this thing you did, as long as it's made clear that that's what's happening from the beginning. It's not so bad.
Yeah,
because I played Tormentum, and that has an ending like that. But then on the other hand, it kind of, if the game's good enough anyway, it kind of incentivizes you to go back and play it again to try and get the better ending.
Right.
But I think it's also as like the way I see it is it depends on the kind of intent. Like, like, what's it called? I've been like trying to design some stuff for Lorna Baines and all that, where it's kind of like it's about relationships and should it telegraph that this thing that you've done that
I
someone
like teleport better.
Yeah. Should it teleport that because you said something that, you know, that someone likes you better? Or is it a more realistic sort of thing to not really know if, you know, the things that you're saying is actually making this person like you more? But I suppose then it's also like, does that also determine how the game ends? If that's how it determines how the game ends, then yeah, maybe it should telegraph it. But if it's not, if it's just kind of like, this is our kind of weird relationship that we're not really having because you're an AI and I'm not, then maybe it should just feel a bit more natural and just be like, well, you know, you don't remember that you said that, but I remember. So it's just like any sort of real relationship that you have with someone who has a slightly better memory than you.
Yeah, I mean, it's going into the whole Telltale thing of Clementine will remember that, because I personally turned those notifications off in season 1 because I thought that they broke immersion. But I liked that idea of, you know, what you do affects how the characters do that. That's like one of the core mechanics of Rosewater. Like, your relationships with your companions or your posse is going to determine like how the story plays out.
Because like Lorna Baines has got a similar thing as well, because originally it was just her talking to the detective about her day and then going from there to like kind of build a relationship to see if but like, you know, like he's got an idea, so that will he rope her into it or will she have to act alone? But then I went, but if I have like this relationship between them, which I'm trying to get to feel natural, then I need another person that's going to make sure that, you know, certain things are going to happen. Otherwise the game is going to stop halfway through if he just decides he doesn't like her. And that's where I brought in the coroner. So he's just going to be like, well, you know, like you might not be into it, but I'm still on this track. So I'm going to pull you in, and then your relationship is still going to cause issues in this second half, but you're now actually looped in because I'm here.
Right.
So,
yeah, that brings up an interesting point as far as like the challenge of, like if you're depending on having a good relationship with a character to have a story beat happen, then what happens if you've treated them like crap the whole game and they're mad at you? Like, you have to come up with a suitable alternative, which just it goes into that whole branching thing, and like the trolls making fun of trolls for saying, "Oh yeah, making branching games." But,
that tree has to end up. Sorry, Nico.
Yeah, I've bookmarked that coroner character for you because when I write him, I've got your head in my voice. So it's set in Florida. It works.
Me or
his head in your voice?
Yeah, you.
Oh, me. Oh. Would you like me to do a Sam Nobles from Police Quest 4?
Oh God, that would be great. That would be great.
Come here, Sherry.
Hello, I'm a coroner.
No, make him Cedric.
Go with him. Yeah, the choice is clear.
Make him Cedric.
There are other voices for you.
But yeah, I to go back, I did do that as far as like the thing you do at the very beginning affects the very end. I did that in Lamplight City with like the very first dialogue option you get, where you can scream, "Bill, wake up, the carriage is on fire." And if you do that at the very end, you get the option to say, "Bill, wake up, your grave is on fire." And you only get that if you pick that. So that was like one of those things. And you get an achievement for it, which is great, because that way you can incentivize people to look for all the stuff they wouldn't have otherwise seen, because you can add Shivos.
IkiFoo's making notes.
Yeah.
No.
But I feel like I've been talking too much. Somebody else say something.
No.
She's just a cat.
Or otherwise.
That does not work.
I can't see.
There we go.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, it's a cat.
There's a cat.
Oh, that's sweet.
I've not been taking notes this
Dogs are
whole
better.
time.
Anyway.
There was gonna be a quiz. I told you.
That wasn't a cat.
You're
That was
gonna fail
Boba
the
Fett.
quiz now.
Well, who's got final thoughts?
We kind of went off topic a little, though, didn't we? We were kind of talking about designing short versus long.
Well, you know, it kind of all plays into it, because it's kind of like, you know, definitely the shorter games that I've been, you know, that I've made in the past and that I've got plans to do to kickstart working on Lorna Baines again. They're all like segments of my longer game, because, you know, longer things take effort and you need to kind of work out if something will work on a shorter scale for a larger game, especially when you're trying to do something that's not quite been done before. or not been done before, but not, you know, done in that sort of context. So it's kind of like shorter games are a great way to experiment with game mechanics and all that. And, you know, if you just come up with a silly little idea, or, you know, if you have a great idea, like I think the next short game that I want to make is potentially a great idea. So I'm kind of like, yes, I must do it. But I think it's definitely one of those things that, you know, you get to experiment in a shorter game a lot more than you do in a longer game, because you need to have consistency in a longer game. And that means you've got to work stuff out long in advance before doing it. Otherwise, you get those games where it's sort of like, oh, you know, you've been doing this all this time, but guess what? We're changing your entire mechanic because really late on we had a great idea and we had to make it fit somehow.
Yeah, no, doing a really short prototype of just if you're prototyping a mechanic that you want to use in a bigger game is great too, because yeah, it gets you to finish something and then you have code you can copy and paste later, which is great.
And it's not as if you can't then release it. I think the Charnel House trilogy had one of their chapters, Sepulchre, released first. Yeah, I granted that's pretty evenly divided into the three acts.
Yeah, it's the
apparently I have memory problems, but yeah, it is possible. Is my point.
So Dave, you've been kind of quiet. You got any thoughts?
Not really, but I mean, I'm only just starting to learn how to do all this stuff. So
he's just a pretty face today.
I'm taking it in. I'm taking it in.
But yeah, like, because like even if you make a shorter game, you can always take, and you like the story of it, you could also then recontextualize it, like, you know, like that Lorna Zero, which is out, which was, you know, kind of terrible, but I still dug the story beat. I'm actually taking that and I'm putting it as part of the longer version of Lorna Bane. So you get to recontextualize all the bad stuff out of it, but take the good, and then you can use that to build on to the rest of it. So, I mean, it's an origin story, so...
Yeah, like the 1 Room 1 Week games that Ben and I did that were the prequels to Shardlight, and then we made Shardlight, we were making Shardlight. But yeah, they served as like little standalone prequels that, you know, they weren't great, but they were there, and they... Like, I think we got reflection code out of it, so that helped too. and one background, so
every little bit helps.
Background, yeah, it's for Shardlight. So yeah, every little bit does help. And plus, like, shorter games are better just from a player's perspective, because who has, like you said, who has the time to spend hours and hours and hours? Yeah, exactly. I have naps to take.
Which is truly the chief among all our concerns. All right, so who's got final thoughts?
Both types are good.
Cool.
Yeah, you know, I agree with that.
Yeah.
Don't make a long game until you've made at least one short game.
That's the best takeaway here.
Perfectly admirable advice, probably.
Don't try and make your first game an MMO.
Yeah.
In fact, just don't make an MMO. Probably going to go wrong.
Yeah.
Don't make your first longer type game something that should be in VR, and then try and make it in AGS. People do not play platonically, of course. There's no point to it.
All right, so here's something we haven't done in past shows, but maybe we probably should start, considering we do this every 2 weeks. Let's plug some stuff. Our stuff, specifically. Who's got stuff to plug?
I literally have to look up what I've...
So there's FMV Quest. Third video just went up this morning because I forgot last night.
Oh yeah, FMV Club. Yeah.
Yes.
What is FMV Quest?
Oh boy, another great video to watch.
FMV Quest.
More gag from Resulka.
Yeah. Well, we've also got the Secret World episode that just went up.
Yeah. Wanderer's YAR show just started.
I want to get back into that. I want to, but you know,
me too.
We did another expedition. Well, I say we. I skipped out on this one, and from what I'm hearing in the comments, quite rightfully, because the game mechanics suck. Apparently,
no,
they're not that bad.
They're not for everyone, but you know,
you don't sound too enthusiastic, though.
Yeah, I played it.
There's an asterisk.
Years.
Me too.
I mean,
maybe we're just used to it.
Yeah, like what's it called? We both played it solo. I think really early on something broke in my character, and I played it for like 3 or 4 years with a broken character, and just be like,
I still don't know. what happened.
No,
there.
like what's it called? Like I said, like Richard Cobbett, who'd fully played all of it, and my friend Dell, they both went through my character trying to fix it. And they're just like, you know, you're geared right. You've got good skills. Why is everyone just constantly killing you? I'm like, I don't know. It's been like that for like 2.5 years, and it's like, why did you put yourself through that torment? And I'm like, oh, I like the game. It's kind of like, what's it called? Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, in the sense that, you know, some mechanics don't quite work for you, but there's enough story and other stuff that makes you actually want to keep going with it.
Yeah, the world building and the lore alone is enough for me to just eat it all up.
Yeah, I mean, like, what's it called? The fact that it kind of is slightly Vampire the Masquerade Bloodline is like when they were trying to do like anything with the computer, like, yeah, let's do that exactly like Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, the hacking.
Oh god, the hacking is so good. I love the hacking.
Hey, Francisco, do you have anything to plug?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, on my channel, no. We of course know you got a game coming up.
Yeah, I've got Lamplight City. Lamplight City. It's a detective game where it's okay to fail. Let me do my stand.
I don't know if I've heard of that.
What year is this?
I meant you were working on Rosewater, but yeah, that'll do too.
Well, I mean, please, people, go play and buy Lamplight City so that I can continue working on Rosewater without having to get a real job.
Like the rest of us. No.
Yeah.
Well, speak for yourself, anyway.
But yes, I am also working on Rosewater. I actually just coded in an inventory system today. I'm very proud of myself because I coded
you went
in
back
an
to inventory.
system.
That's interesting. After last time,
context sensitive menus and everything.
Just like
I don't know how I did it. Yeah, not that many icons though.
Yeah.
Someone sent me a screenshot and I was like, holy shit, I forgot how many icons this had. It was like, burn the paper, eat the apple. You never used
it. So someone showed you Return to Zork then?
Oh, I had played the demo back in the day, but I don't.
No, I mean, like, what's it called? Because I really like the diamond.
Yeah.
I always really enjoyed the Return to Zork interface.
Just to go full circle, that is actually something Lure the Temptress did. It'll be like verb, object, and an optional.
I remember that now.
Then.
Yeah.
But anyway, I've got a couple of low-budget gaming videos in the works. One on a game called Over My Dead Body for You, and another on a game called Consortium, so be on the lookout for those. And as far as Let's Plays go, Shovel Knight is bringing its final single-player campaign into the mix this Tuesday. Well, again, I forget, this is pre-recorded. But anyway, it's coming soon, and I'll be playing that, so be on the lookout for that. So, that will just about do it for this episode of YAR Talk. Thanks to... What?
I have things also.
Yeah.
You finally remembered your things, did you?
Yes, I did. I was just stalling for time. I was not trying to pass over to the next person.
Sure.
So we did a point and quickie on Rainswept, which is the only point and click game I've found so far that works better on a gamepad. Asterisk, but watch it, you'll see.
Better.
Before that, 1,000 subscriber Q&A. We don't need to go into that. And Fenimore Fillmore, Free Skulls of the Toltecs, which was a remakes and remasters, because I got a code for it popping up in my email inbox, and I'd never heard of the game before that. It's like 1996, something like that.
Can't say I have either.
Yeah. As for coming up, well, 7th Guest Anniversary Edition came out.
Oh, that old thing.
And considering it's the mobile port, not the original mobile port, that would be worse, but just the mobile port, I will have words.
Oh. Where the hell did that come from?
I've never been so disappointed. You know what really disappointed me in that? Like, it really got me riled up. Literally unplayable is when they've skipped the freaking orchestra and the 7th Guest logo in the opening.
They put the logos over it, yeah.
That is a crime against humanity, and that is a hill I will die on.
Burn it all down.
Literally unplayable. Unplayable. It's broken.
It's almost as bad as when they got rid of the dancing monkeys in the remaster of Monkey Island 2.
I knew I hadn't played that yet.
2 out of 10 would not bang.
And on that note... Look out for all that stuff on our various channels, and of course, go by Lamplight City and look out for Rosewater.
Well,
it should really be good. Yeah, it's a juggernaut. Look at it. Yeah. Anyway,
go have a look.
Yeah. All right. That'll do it. That will definitely do it. I don't care if anybody has anything else. That'll do it for this episode of YAR Talk. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.
Quick, let's stop recording before the call ends again.